What's up, hospitality? Have you noticed a drop on your organic marketing results? Marketers are freaking out with the results they got in the past 6 months, and it doesn't look like it is just a change or an update in the algorithm. It looks like there is something deeper and more permanent. If you want to learn more, what is changing, why it's changing, and what you can do about it, hang on, because this is what we're going to be chatting about today. But first, my name is Mauricio, and you're listening to the Schulering Hub Talking Hospitality podcast, a podcast made for the independent hotelier. And our goal is to educate the independent hotelier and get up-to-date content to learn, adapt, and get their business in the right track. I am not a digital marketing specialist, so I invited Chris Zhao from Travel Media Group with over 10 years experience on search engine marketing and search engine optimization, also known as SEM, SEO, to talk about this. If you don't know Chris, follow him on LinkedIn. He shares a lot of content about the changes that are happening in the market, and I'm very stoked to get his knowledge to our community. Chris, welcome to the show.
Hey, Mauricio, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
It's my pleasure to have you here, Chris. It's awesome to have you. Have been following your content for some time now. And man, you go deep when it comes to share the changes. It comes to share what you learned during your 10 years experience in this market. So I'm super stoked to be bringing you to the show and share with our audience. But first, some people here may not know you yet. So how did you end up where you are right now? Tell your story a little bit, Chris.
Yeah, before I do that, I want to congratulate you for being named at this year's IHI's top 50 social media influencers. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you. It's all because of you guys, the guests, not because of me. I'm just facilitating the things.
You are doing an awesome job.
Thank you.
Yeah, so for me, I was majoring in advertising at the University of Florida. And after graduation, I landed on a professional intern job with Disney as search and auction media analyst in their global media team. And the team managed all those search and social initiatives to promote Disney's ticket sales online, Disney theme parks, resorts, cruises. And my responsibilities majorly focused on the social part, the paid social, to use Facebook and Instagram to promote the ticket sales. And that was, in 2015, and a time when Facebook just started to integrate Instagram into a, online advertising ecosystem. So, and after that, I started to work at the Travel Media Group as a, search engine optimizer, SEO, SEM analyst. And yeah, I have been with TMG ever since. And, in a couple of months, I'll be celebrating my 10-year anniversary here.
10th year anniversary at the Travel Media Group.
Yes.
Wow, that's awesome. Congratulations. 10 years. That's amazing to see someone that actually loyal to the job, to the people that help them to grow. And
thank you.
I guess that from that time in Disney, where you were more into the social media and then changed into the travel group, that's a Travel Media Group, that is a massive company when it comes to understanding media in travel, in our industry, right? And I guess that a lot has changed in that time. So what did you see as the things that worked before? Because that's what I believe that the hoteliers are still doing, that believing that the recipe will still work. So can you tell a little bit about this last 10 years, let's say, in not 10 years, but if you can shut it up?
Yeah, for sure. For the past decade, especially in the early 2015, and when I just started to work, one of the legacy metrics was traffic for SEM and SEO. Like for SEM, you get more like PPC traffic with ads, and for SEO, from top of the funnel to bottom funnel throughout the conversion funnel. Basically, what we did in this industry was to acquire as much traffic as possible from short tail to long tail search intent. And we basically researched the keywords based on both monthly search volume and relevancy and try to rank on Google for different search intent throughout the funnel. And another legacy, I call it legacy metric or KPI, was attribution. So because the early years of digital marketing was, majorly based on Google's online advertising system or the cookie-based attribution system that I think Google was a leader about it. Basically, we marketers were trained by those, attribution system to be able to use cookie to track, especially on the bottom of the funnel, like how much revenue was generated by SEM, SEO, by the time they clicked an ad and later converted, okay, the ad click and, the online, interaction behavior was and attributed to the revenue.
So if I understood well, so PPC would be, it's price per click. Basically what you guys would do is have a campaign on Google with a PPC campaign, where you could make a funnel of who was clicking, then you put cookies to tag who was clicking on that ad, and you had a funnel to see how much actually was generating from each click that you were paying for.
That was basically what happened in the early years of the past decade, because, the conversion funnel was shorter. Basically, what we observed was you put ads on Google, not only on Google, but also can be on Facebook, social media, and then people clicked and people converted, and it was easier, and the revenue was, we were able to track the revenue.
And so if we start coming forward, right, and trying to understand a little bit more of the changes that happen in the past few months or years, I don't know because this idea, if you Google today, is SEO dying or SEO dead, you're going to get a mix of responses, right? You're going to get a ton of people saying that, like, yes, it's definitely dying. And a ton of people saying like, yeah, you've been saying that SEO has been dying for the last 20 years or so. So it looks like that is a trend that is constant because of the algorithm changes or everything that has happened. So what is happening right now? What does this new impact?
Yeah. Thanks for bringing this up, because the SEO industry has been saying like SEO is dead forever, because, Google has been rolling out algorithm updates like every now and then from the early days, like Panda and Green in the early 2010s, and then into 2018, like EAT, like expertise, trustworthiness, and authoritativeness. And then, back to last year, Google rolled out like EAT. Google added an experience on top of the EAT, like guidance, to promote the content which was written by authors with, like better experience. So you have to be in this industry for years to be able to consider, like credible. That being said, so SEO is getting harder and harder because more people piled in, and Google again constantly updating algorithms to raise the bar higher and higher. It has not been dead, right, for the past decade. And until now, that I think has reached a critical point. I'm not saying it's dead, but I think it's moving to a different position, or is moving to a different role in the conversion funnel because of AI and because of the conversion funnel, which is getting longer and longer. So speaking of the AI disruption, the AI powered search, I think the logic of go-to-market has changed, and especially for AI powered search. So before, Google took over, like dominated the search vertical, but with AI, like it provides a more intuitive, like simple interface and experience. So basically, think the analogy that I would want to make is for Google, is like a library, right? Which index the whole web, and the results that you get is, like you have to manually sort through and interpret the results you want. For like a power search is like an omniscient librarian. So basically she paraphrases or infers from what she learns about the web and speaks it to you directly. So they're very conversational and very simple, and that provides very disruptive search experience. And in the meantime, the AI powered search, instead of like indexing the whole web, does that make sense?
Yeah. If I understood well, then basically in the past, when you would create these campaigns with a blog article or something that you would have the PPC campaign, you would write a blog or you'd use keywords and you would be discoverable online. You would create that campaign and people would ask with the long tail, that is a long question, or just using keywords, try to find that response. They would get to your ad or to your content, and they would visit the website to learn what it is about. Right now, if I understood well, then with AI actually learns the content, and when you ask, you get the response, you get the reply, and you don't need to visit the website anymore. Did I get it right? Sorry to interrupt. If you're enjoying the show and if you are learning something new today, please consider following the show, subscribe to our channel, or leave us a review. It helps us to help more people through the podcast, and it would mean the world to us. Thank you for listening, and we're back on the chat.
Yeah, that's 100% correct. And also, even with Search GPT or Perplexity, they provide the external link, but still, like, that's gonna be ahead of the distribution curve. That only for each of the AI results that it spit out, it contains maybe like 10 or so like external links, and then that's it. Basically, that is sufficient to help us understand a problem, right? And then we don't have to sort through like 1, 2, 3 pages on Google. That makes the user experience way more, simple and user friendly. In December last year, Google for the first time dropped below 90% of search intent in the internet. So it's the AI tools, not only because of AI, but the AI tools like TikTok and even Amazon taking over businesses from Google. And I found quite interesting. I'll put the link for this news here on the notes of the podcast. It's from Today. And even Google itself on their podcast, they were asking. Of course, Google is very protective of what is being changed. They are saying that nothing has been changed or everything. But in their own podcast, they've been discussing if SEO is dying out of their control, right? Like something that they are not being able to fix anymore. But you talked before about social marketing, that you've been changing your focus then from SEO, SEM, to social marketing. And what is social marketing? How does it change the game? Yeah, social marketing is basically to leverage social media to influence the customers' buying decisions, throughout the conversion funnel. And so how does it change to the game? How does it evolve? Because if I understand, social marketing is using, did you say social media to do that? But social media has been around for some time now, right? So what did it change? Why is it social marketing now more important than before? Yeah, that's a good question. I think, we right now we need to, look at social media from a fresh standpoint, because it has evolved. And I think I would categorize first, there are 2 stages of social media based on my understanding. And the first stage was social 1.0. So I would categorize the area where from 2009 to 2020. So that was a time when people connected and went online and transcended the physical boundaries of social interactions. And that was also driven by proliferation of UGC, user-generated content. And that was a time, pioneered by Facebook, and then powered by the growth of YouTube. And then, in the last couple of years, plateaued with Instagram, leading the go mobile trend. And I think in terms of content discovery logic in social 1.0, the content was the thing, right? And then people connected with, people or companies or brands to get more efficient communication and information. They trusted the people and brands and companies first. And then that brought us to social 2.0 area, and that was from 2020 until now. And because the logic of go-to-market or the social media, has changed. Social 2.0, I would say, is all about trust building and credibility building. And also, like the first principle of social media in social 2.0 is not about social anymore. It's about trust. It's because it was significantly driven by the disruptive short form videos and interest-based algorithms, like led by TikTok. And then we saw Reels, right? And all those like YouTube Shorts and LinkedIn short form videos. So the content discovery logic in social 2.0 is the content is rich, is richer than before, and it scales better with interest-based algorithms. So basically, we discover the content first, and then we resonate with the content first, and then we kind of like discover the author of the content, the creator behind the content, and then we trust the people. We trust the brand because of the content that we resonate with. I think that's how we connect on LinkedIn.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Like, yeah. And also because of the richer content and the disruptive interest-based algorithms, social 2.0, the growth traction or opportunity is going to be non-linear and even exponential because content scales better, and which is further compounded by the ripple effects of social connections.
Now you were speaking about this algorithm changes in the search of TikTok, and it just remember about a podcast that I was listening from Gary Vee. I never remember his surname, but
Same.
But he's a very known marketer, and he was exactly telling what you saying, right? So the way that he said was that before 2020, before basically TikTok became a thing, social media was just like email marketing, right? You create content to get more followers, to get more people to sign up and see your content because you sign up to that person. So you follow that person, you get the content from that person. Once TikTok changed that algorithm to it doesn't matter who is speaking first, it matters what they are saying first. So it gave that golden opportunity to, you don't need to pay lots of money or do a lot of things to get people to follow you. You just really need to create content and get people's interest, and then they will follow you because of your authority, because what you're saying, and turning discovery a lot easier. So that's basically a parallel of you just said, right?
Or I was just saying what he said, Yeah, and he called it like TikTokification of social media. Yeah, which is very disruptive.
Yeah, that's awesome. And let's move maybe for the independent hotelier now, because we've been trying to understand these changes because it's hard, right? It's hard for the independent hoteliers. Super busy, super stressed, high commissions that they have to pay, getting all that third-party discovery from the OTAs, and trying to leverage social media their own ways to get business direct. People are lost, right? There is no doubt that hoteliers are lost. Even the big brands are lost. Imagine the small independent hotels. So if we could try to help them out and try to give them like a step-by-step on understanding on how they change their strategy and start creating more interesting content or getting more business through the marketing of the 2.0, as you call 2.0 social marketing, what would you tell them to do? Like, what would be the first step that they should start preparing?
I think first is very important to understand the traveler's journey or the conversion funnel. And I want to specifically differentiate like conversion funnel from traveler's journey, because conversion funnel is like from the inspiration to a transaction in the hotel booking phase. And traveler's journey extends more than, like the hotel booking phase. It extends beyond the booking phase. So from hotel discovery to the pre-stay to in-stay and to post-stay. So I think understand the traveler's journey would help the independent hotel get more, understand more opportunities and to seize more opportunities to, influence the travelers' behaviors throughout the conversion funnel, throughout the traveler's journey. And also, it's very critical to understand all the channels that they can leverage. So, for example, from OTAs that you said and metasearch, especially when the independent hotels, they don't have as solid support from the brand side, both, branding and distribution that branded hotels have. So in that case, in order to be able to show up when travelers are doing research, so they have to leverage, all the channels available out there that they can leverage, especially when the channels that you can leverage for free either is free, right? Like metasearch is, if you don't want to do Google Hotel ads, performance marketing, that's fine. It's also a free channel out there, or the OTAs, like you said, it's a necessary evil probably, but still that wouldn't require a sales and marketing spend upfront. That being said, where the travelers come from, where they do research and then they navigate through the conversion funnel to book their hotels, especially for these two channels that we discovered, the two channels we just said, metasearch and OTA, they are already in market. They already have the booking intent. And then I think it's important to use content to influence on their decisions. So because we're talking about a funnel, and then throughout the funnel, especially at the bottom of the funnel, when they are ready to book a hotel, when they are in the comparison mode to compare your hotel versus the comp set, how you differentiate your hotel versus the other one, versus the hotel across your street. You can leverage the stock photos on OTAs, right? And list it on Google Hotels. Hey, we are in the social 2.0 area, the content's richer. You have to leverage better creative content on social media, especially when they are comparing, versus others. They can actively check your social media, to look at what's going on, more comprehensive information that the templated photos or information on OTAs can deliver. And in that case, the conversion loop is healthier because you have the content to back up all those established, distribution or metasearch channels. And then you can make sure all those free traffic acquired, from top of the funnel to bottom funnel wouldn't be wasted, because you have content there. And another thing is leverage reviews and review responses, because we can think about review responses as a form of content, and especially it's very bottom of the funnel, and nothing I think impacts the purchase decision as direct as reviews. It's what we do, booking hotels, shopping on Amazon, right? Buying a product, especially in the AI age, the UGC is gonna be more important than ever. Reviews.
What's this for?
User generated content.
Okay.
It's reviews are crowdsourced information in a very authentic and probably, emotional fashion. We can, independent hotels, they can use review responses to directly, not only to address the current reviews, but also as a channel to potentially speak to the prospects, potential travelers that come to your property. Yeah, again, UGC is now AIGC, right? AI generated content. AI will. I read research that shows, okay, in the AI, since the mid 2023, and when GPT was born, not was born, but became prominent. And then on Google, because of the AI generated content, because of AIO overview, the Google's version of AI results, like the Reddit, all the community results got more traction because of this, because Google has been also pushing and giving more visibility to the community results because of, the prominence of AI generated results. And then that being said, is like the SEO or the search engine result page. We see more AI generated results, and also we see more community results because Google also understand, in the AI age, like the user version, the human side, of the information is going to be more and more critical.
And let's clear up, because sometimes I believe that hoteliers get lost in translation when it comes to marketing, mainly when it comes to understand funnels, right? Because when you say travel journey, I understand travel journey, but probably some of my other friends will think that's like, well, what's the traveler journey, right? Like, we'll think about, okay, it's when they arrive in the hotel or it's when they are traveling from the airplane. So, and you're talking about the top of the funnel or bottom of the funnel. So can you just explain a little bit of what it means, the travel journey, what it means, that journey in the marketing, and what it means, the funnels, and what's the top funnel and bottom funnel, so they can kind of understand, and me too.
Yeah, thanks for asking. It's basically travel's journey. It's all about how a traveler, discovers your hotel, and maybe like prior to that, how they, started to have the inspiration, like get some inspirations to book their next travel trip, and in which process they will navigate through all those information to book a hotel, right, for accommodation. And that's when we speak of travel journey, that's from top of the funnel. Is like, okay, they still, in maybe not, they haven't even started the discovery phase. They like subconsciously browsing content on the web and majorly on social media, and then they can be influenced by your content if you are proactively there on social media, for example. And then if they see a content or post from your social media, right, from your hotel, and then they discover, have I would say they are inspired by your content, and then they decided to travel, and they have the travel planning, and then they kind of like make their travel plans, and then they are navigating down to the funnel to more actively search hotels, search accommodation for their travel trips. And then they will become more like in-market traveler segment, and then they can start to do their hotel search, for example, from metasearch, right, or from OTAs, like from all the travel aggregators. And then in that case, they navigate through their choices, and then they're moving down to the bottom of the funnel. And then they are ready, they make a transaction on the booking channel, whether it's direct, whether it's OTA, and then that concludes the hotel booking phase. But that's not done for the traveler's journey, because like you haven't, as a hotel, delivered your service. And then that comes to the post-booking pre-stay phase. They can, after they book a hotel, like you would want to leverage all those available channels, for example, social media, to keep them updated what's going on at your property, right? And that's more like a communication means than an inspiration. But it can be both, or engagement. Like you use social media to constantly walk your travelers or the potential guests from the top of the funnel down to the bottom funnel, and then down to alongside their travel journey until they stay with you. And then that's the in-stay phase. And they may still need social media to keep them updated about what's happening at your property, like what events are going on, like when to check into all those attractions, all those information that can happen, like that can change very fast. And social media is a great tool to keep them engaged. And then that comes to the post-day phase. It's like how you still keep them excited after they conclude or finish their trip, and keep them reminded about their stay, and help them and give them a means and engage them on social media to help you, speak out for your property because they had a fantastic experience. And that's the post-day phase, like to leverage the content and the UGC, to engage them and constantly, boost up the visibility and voice of your property.
So if I understood well, now basically people start a discovering phase on social media by being inspired by, I don't know, a great video of, I'll use Prague as an example, like walking in Prague and end up in the hotel, or by friends that stay in the hotel and share on social media where they are and inspiring people. Then it creates an intent, oh, I want to see Prague, I want to go. Let's start the research, learning more about Prague, learning more about what to do. Get to the OTAs, start the research about the hotels, get to the website of the hotels to understand what is on offer, what it is extra that the OTAs are not saying. They finally book the hotel. And then basically what in the past and what I see still a lot of hotels doing is trying to use the website to keep people engaged. But people don't go anymore to the website. They prefer to go to the social media to see what's going on because it is more dynamic. And then from that social media, it's starting to get, I don't know, the restaurant inspiration, massage, extra services, educating the guests on what they can use and what they can actually enjoy in that stay. And then after creating that opportunity in stay as well, create the opportunity for them to share with their friends what's going on there and inspire more people outside. And then after getting them still excited to love your brand and continue to share and create more content on TripAdvisor, on Booking.com, whatever, where they booked, and share more and more and more about you, creating that user content, user generated content, as you said, right?
Yes.
And that would trigger also AI to give answers to when they ask for information. Is that the loop?
Yeah, that's the complete loop for Travis journey.
And beyond social marketing, when it comes to what would be the ideal setup for an independent hotel, what are the channels that they need to be thinking about that they use? Because you said metasearch. By the way, I'm still confused on how metasearch actually works. So if you can kind of explain that and where they should be and where they should focus and what would be like an ideal content for hotels?
Yeah, I think again, because of independent hotels, they lack the support of, like the distribution from the brand side. Like first, you've got to have your property being discovered. And then that comes to the discussion of channel. And OTA is end to end. When they are in market, they do hotel discovery. And then because OTAs aggregate, a list of hotels, and then you can sort through. Travelers can sort through, and metasearch, it fills exactly the the gap that, or like the early phase of discovery, the functionality that independent hotels need. So for example, on Google Hotels, right, like when we do the hotels in Miami, like we search and then we click through the Google search and result page and to the Google Hotels or the Google Travel portal. And then basically metasearch, like Google Hotels, help a traveler discover more like properties or hotels, like OTA, it's in a very aggregation way, and that provides travelers more options. And I think, they can decide which property to go based on all those reviews, like locations. I mean, like is the same way or similar way that travelers discover lodgings on OTAs. And that's what I say about metasearch. Is metasearch, especially for independent hotels, the metasearch levels the playing field, in independent hotels and the OTAs, or between the direct channel or the OTA channel. And then in that case, like they are on the same playing field, and then they can book. The travelers can decide to book, like because they have the means to find your hotels first.
And if I would think about an ideal marketing setup for an independent hotel, because, budget is an issue, right? Independent hotels don't have a lot of budget to spend, don't have a lot to test, right? So they need to try to put their efforts in the right spot. So from your mind, what would you think that would be the best setup?
I think, especially in 2025, like we're in a macro environment with constrained capital, like based on my experience, I've been in the SEM, vertical or industry for the past decade. Like the performance marketing, has been saturated, and the cost per click, on Google, for example, and also on Google Hotel ads, like Google metasearch. Like if you pay ads to drive traffic, you can, but it's gonna be more and more expensive, especially like for hotels and independent hotels. They're fighting against the pocketed OTAs. Like, yeah, you can still spend on Google Hotel ads, but you have to understand why you're spending there. Because performance marketing is way more expensive. It's like what type of audience you are trying to attract at metasearch. Because at metasearch, basically they haven't, like, metasearch is all about the comparison. They are in the comparison mode. Like if you're trying to attract, like price sensitive travelers, like you can, but you have to fix the price to make it more appealing at metasearch. And that's a problem that performance marketing, Google Hotel ads won't solve. Like without Google Hotel ads, you still have the free booking link. You still have the website button at metasearch or Google Hotels that people can click to book at your direct channel for free. It's like you have to think through like why the rationale that you are spending ads there. If that won't make sense anymore as they did, in the past few years, in the past decade, then why you're doing this? It's like you can strategically allocate some budget from, the metasearch ads to content. It's like, because again, metasearch is expensive. The rationale at Google Hotel ads is like you buy more real estate. You buy more visibility to show up with your official like book direct link at metasearch. But that's it. It's like if travelers haven't developed like trust to your property, or they haven't known you enough, like why you're different from your comp set, the other property. It's like spending more on ads won't help. Yeah, but I'm not like, all I'm saying is you have to like know better, like what type of traveler segments you're targeting, If, for example, like at metasearch, there are also like type of travelers or traveler segments that it's like they just want to get hotel done. They don't know, they probably don't care about which booking channel they're gonna book, and then they just want to get the booking done. And in that case, yeah, you spend to get your official booking direct link more prominent. That could help. If they, they only have like a very kind of like they are booking hotel very fast, they don't care, and then in that case, it being more prominent, that would help. But if, for example, like you want to attract the travelers that not only for the specific transaction, not only for the specific stay, but if you want to strategically retain them and encourage like future repeat visits from certain traveler segments, and then first, you got to, like build your brand with content, leverage the content, and especially on social media, because social media is I would say, the number one content engine in social 2.0. You got to leverage the content to build your brand. Give them reasons why they need to pick you, not because you spend on ads. And second is like you would strategically leverage like all the available channels. So, for example, even OTAs, they can refer traffic to your property. But I think that's going to be one stay, that's going to be for this specific stay. But you got to leverage all the touch points beyond like the booking stage, like in-stay, post-stay. You got to connect with them to build a real true relationship, right? It's like by the time like the OTAs pass the booking to you, that become your travelers, your guests. It's like you got to engage them, like give them reason to connect with your property, not OTAs. It's like, especially like you have them in your CRM, your system, like they will be hopefully your future guests that they can book repeatedly with you and hopefully with a direct link. And that's all about hospitality. It's like you engage with them beyond, like you treat them as a, like a true guest, like to build a relationship with, not only for a one-time transaction.
And as I see, like, because here in Europe, for example, we have an issue with repeated guests, right? Because many of the cities, for example, Prague, people will come once in their lifetime. Right. We have a majority of travelers are foreigners and they will come once in a lifetime. So they will not come back to Prague in the next 10 years or so. Right. And a lot of the hoteliers say that, like, that there's no point in create loyalty because people don't come back. I see a little bit differently, because I see that if you educate that there is an advantage to book directly, if you actually offer an advantage to book directly, maybe that person will not come back. But when they speak to their friends about this amazing property and blah, 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 that they stayed, and they say, look, they told me if you book directly on their website, you get an advantage. Or they gave me this promo code to distribute to my friends, or anything that you can get some advantage as well. Then you can leverage that guest that will not return to actually inspire their friends to come and stay with you. And if I understood well as well, with that understanding where you're going to put your eggs, right? Which basket you put your eggs when it comes to metasearch, when it comes to Google. And what is your opinion about influencers? Like, would then be a valuable source of discovery?
Yeah, like influencers, that's going to be cherry on top of the social media in the social 2.0, because like we just discussed, like content becomes richer on social media, and especially like think about, let's go back to the logic. It's all about building trust. And I think the traditional way for not only for hotels but for brands in general is like people have become immune to the traditional way that a brand builds a brand with advertising, with commercials. Yeah, like you can watch a commercial on TV, but you know what? We would think is very commercial. Yeah, it's now in a very authentic way. And also think about why Google in 2024 last year, like I just said, they rolled out another update called EETA, like on top of expertise, worthiness, and the authority, Google added one more experience. Why is that? Because that speaks to, I think Google like indirectly endorsed the social media. Like Google endorsed the social media, right? Because on Google, like the content is from the company handle. But on social media, it's like you can like directly see like how many experience this guy, in this field, like that can make his or her expertise more or less, trustworthy. And then I think that's the underlying logic behind the creator economy or influencer marketing. And research, like I saw Statistica showed like last year in 2024, the influencer marketing spend tripled over the number in 2019. Last year, it reached like 24 billion. So yeah, because like even for Expedia, like last year I think in September, they launched the Expedia travel shop to allow like influencers to create a storefront at Expedia, basically to leverage their influencer power to attract travelers to book through their curate hotels. Like, but that's not on social media, but that's, Expedia. That's on Expedia. But think about that, like OTAs are praying to the top of the funnel, right? To the top of the funnel because first, attention is there, and second, trust and credibility is there, and people trust people who buy from people, and that's the underlying logic, and that's gonna be more like widespreading and far reaching in the future.
Chris, that was an awesome chat. It was awesome to talk to you, learn a lot about it. And I can see that there's a lot that the hotelier needs to get used to as well. How can people get to learn more from you and maybe get some business for Travel Media Group as well?
Yeah, like you can always reach me on LinkedIn. Like we talk about influencers. I think nowadays, if you post something on social media, you are an influencer. Yeah, like I can always be reached, connected on LinkedIn. You can connect me, and yeah, we at Travel Media Group, we also provide social media and review response services to help hotels, like especially in the social 2.0, get more traction in the non-linear growth opportunities, as a, go-to-market means. And yeah, I look forward to connecting everyone there.
It's awesome, Chris. I'll put the notes here on the notes. I'll put your link for LinkedIn as well. And thank you so much. I very appreciated that conversation. Thank you so much for lending your time there to share your knowledge with us.
Thank you so much, Ernesto. Yeah, it has been a pleasure talking with you.
My pleasure is all mine. Schulering, thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye-bye.